Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be looking at a question that has floated around the royal fandoms and the Mexic community quite some time. And that question is, why did the royals not help Thomas Markle and the Markles? And I've seen quite a few commentators and content creators come out and say things like this. I don't think it's particularly helpful, to be honest, about like picking apart what happened in the past. But I'm going to have a look in the cards. I'm just going to say that I'm going to look in at the cards, and the cards will be my guide. And I'll see if I can link anything from my knowledge, because I've been floating around in this community. I've been following this whole story since 2016, you know, and the Markles have been about in the community since 2016. They've popped up, and yeah. Let's go. Let's have a look. Why didn't the royals embrace the paternal Markle family? Let's have a look. I don't think there's any force that you have to, you know. In-laws and in-laws don't necessarily have to, you know, really get on. They sometimes don't even, you know, mix in the same circle as the family. That's just a different branch of a family. So let us have a look and see. The Magician. Oh, that is an interesting card to start on. A very interesting card. The royals have their own thing. They want to do their own thing. They can bring together their own piece and their own thing. And I think they've been advised by somebody not to be honest. I think they managed to bring everything together. And yeah. Right. The Hermit in reverse. Crossing over, there is Harry, Virgo. One of the big stops on all of this was the actual Montecito Markles, if you will. They weren't that then, but Harry has got a lot to do with stopping the royals or influencing the royals against them. We have got the Knight of Swords there. They look. It wasn't just Harry. The Knight of Swords there suggests that there is something to do with the police. And there we have death underneath. I feel like the diagnosis for, I don't know how long ago the Queen was, but I feel like definitely for the Prince Philip, I feel like they knew that the time was coming to an end for Phil, and they didn't want all of this distractions. I feel like a very spiritual person advised them well not to do this, not to go ahead. And the police were just like, no. And Harry was like, no. Interesting that the police were. They were hurt and they didn't understand why the Markles were being so vocal in the press. I have one answer for you, royal family. That's cash. God save the ka-ching. It's the same MO as Megsy. God save the ka-ching. And the Knave of Swords. Okay. Right. All of the... Right. Okay. This is an interesting one. Let me just go off on one for a little minute. The Knave of Swords suggests all of the noise, and it's in reverse, all of the noise and all of the hostility that they created prior to the wedding and after the wedding and everything like that, the royals really did not appreciate. So if you remember back in the day, Senior said the royals were weird and cold, and he didn't really comfortable with Megsy being around them, and then he wants to be in the circle. And then, of course, you've got Junior writing that letter to the royal family, you know, basically warning against Megsy, and then sending it to People magazine. Of course, that for a fee. It's all very performative. The royals can see them what they want, and I feel there's an element of protecting the Queen as well. The Empress in reverse. And the Two of Wands in reverse. Yeah, they shut the door on them. They really don't want to know. I don't blame them, to be honest. But the three of the Empress in reverse here. They think they're cruel. They think they're unnecessarily cruel and causing trouble. They think it's unnecessary and destructive and not good, coming from good intentions. That's what they think. And they shut the door, probably because of that. Probably because of all the stuff that the Markles did. You've got the Two of Pentacles in reverse there. And you've got the Knight of Wands there, also in reverse. So we can see with this, very much so, that we have got with the Knave of Swords, with the Page of Swords here, we have got this very brutal, quick, snappy energy, yeah? It's an immature energy as well. It's like, I want attention, so I'm going to say things that are going to get me attention. The royals were already going through a lot with these two things, and also dealing with, obviously, Megsy and Harry's temper tantrums. What they didn't need was more. And I feel like a decision was made because of the Queen's health, just to stay away, go away from them, block away. Now, I'm trying to remember, there's a interview where Senior says that the Queen owes him, the royals owe me, Megsy owes me, Harry owes me. It's time to look after Daddy. I think it was an ITV interview. And I think that might have been either 2018 or 2017 or something. But it's very wrong to say that the royals were ever in a position to offer friendship when all of this attack kept coming and coming and coming. Let me just have a look-see here. Did the Markles even want the royals' help? I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I'm interested with the police there, though. The security, it could be the security services going, You've got enough trouble with Prince Andrew at the minute. You don't need more. They wanted to move on. Okay, they wanted to cause some friction to move on. There we go. What's over? They want the cash. They want the money. What's driving all of this? Samantha, what's above all of this? Oh, we're just trying to balance and navigate our way through this and do the right thing and be fair and everything. Temperance card, there's a Sagittarius under here. One of the big pushers here is the Heart of Cups. The Queen of Cups is in reverse there. And they don't want to work anymore. They wanted the cash. The Masters of nothing. They wanted the cash. Now, I've got to say, since 2016, they haven't said anything new, really, about Megsy, other than creating situations where they can insert themselves in. So the letter to the royal family, if you don't see the grit, I can't help you. The suing of Megsy and even the judge is like, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. And she actually, Samantha, actually said in the court in September of 2025 that Christopher Boozy was a trustworthy expert. Samantha's legal representation on her behalf made that statement in a court on record. You know, Christopher Boozy, that man who has tormented, tortured not only the Prince and Princess of Wales all the way through 2024, but also in the early days of Megxit back 2019, 2020, 2021, etc., got a load of creators on various platforms deplatformed, demonetized, and made their lives difficult. I feel they say whatever is convenient to them at the time. A bit like Megxit. A lot like Megxit. What did they want? Control. Oh, they're not very... If they keep going like this, they are going to breed their own unhappiness and their own tragedy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not wishing it on them. That is all I'm saying, because they are receptive to hearing, and they're receptive to having more drama. Yeah, they are completely receptive to it. They want to be involved. They want to be thingy. They want drama. That's why they're so involved with different people on social media, you know, and that's why they go hard at anyone who's critical of them and all of that stuff. So here we have the 5 of Cups in reverse. They really want to control that narrative. I wonder why they want to control that narrative. Let me have a look. I know it's cash, but the 4 of Swords, remembrance, okay, and the door closed, and impatience and stupidity. And they don't want to be judged for something. Somebody there doesn't want to be judged for something. We have the Death card here. They're hoping to transform themselves and burn themselves away. Basically, they wanted cash. They wanted notoriety, and they didn't want to have to work again, and they just wanted to do this as like a way to make money. And I think the royals know that, but they're also very interested in controlling stuff. Interesting. Anyway, guys, I thought that was interesting. So the royals had a multitude of sources of why not to get involved with the Markles, and to be fair to the royals, they don't usually get involved over the much with the families. We do see, we've got, of course, the Middletons. We do see the Middletons, and they have slightly problem. I mean, in kind of an eccentric, jolly way, an eccentric with Uncle Gary. They do have that kind of energy. They do have one rogue, but the Markles have 1, 2, 3, at least 3 rogues, plus, of course, Doris. You know, the whole smorgasbord of it. And I don't think really since the wedding the royals have been like, oh look, Doris is on the balcony. You know what I mean? Doris has never been on the balcony. So I think it's an anathema. I think it's ridiculous that the Markles, it is suggested that the Markles help. With these cards, with everything that's gone on, I can understand it. So there is that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed this slightly different reading, and I'll love you and leave you, and I'll see you again for some more readings. Bye, everyone.